Hi, happy Tuesday. I'm just going to have a quick chat. There's some things that I've been processing within myself in the last few days, and I just wanted to talk about them and unpack my own mind a little bit. So, I quit my job, and it doesn't really matter why. I've done a few videos, going into the ins and outs, and again, just pointless. Like, what I gleaned from it all was that I actually believe that I'm worth more, finally. So I won't be going back to that job. And it's not because I'm a lazy bitch or anything like that. It's all for the right reasons. It's just, it feels a bit like, oh God, because we're so programmed to just get on with things and accept things, be grateful you've got a job. It's like, no fucking way. Not after I've spent like 5 years, trying to regain my self-worth. I'm not going to go and do a job where they're completely misleading and exploiting the staff now. So that happened, but when I became aware of this and I was like, right, I'm not doing another shift, I've got to let them know. I had all this massive anxiety, and so I was working my way through it and thinking, what is it? And it felt like disappointment, not wanting to let people down. So I'm thinking, well, it's not the people that I was going to look after that night, because I didn't even fucking know them. It's not the company, because I can see already that they're full of shit, and I don't respect them. They don't respect even the people they're caring for, or the staff that are working for them. So it's not them. It's not the people around me, because I'm a whirl these days. I'm no longer in the pits of my suffering, and I'm able to control and contain my own shit. My energetic field. I'm good vibes. Mostly. So I'm not disappointing them. And then I was like, oh God, it's my parents. And I have never tried to please my parents outwardly. I've always done the opposite. And I'm a grown woman now. I've got 2 kids, and I still don't care. I'll never do what they want me to do. But it was that. It was this sort of expected parental perceptions. Like, they were quite proud of me that I'd, taken the leap back into work. And they were like, well done, well done, Maz. Like, and my mum's like, I'll do what I can to help you babysit. And, all of a sudden, in their eyes, I'm more of a decent human, because I've decided to take a slave job. And so I was just like, oh God, it's them. I just feel like there's always like a subconscious taught from them towards me, and it's a real like deep multifaceted chip and loop, and like I said, it's the parental program. It's the way that they expected me to be, and how that is not who I am, and so that jars constantly. When I was really young, like pre-12, I was portrayed and pinned and made to feel as if I was this super intelligent kid that was, of course, going to grow up and be either a vet or a doctor, and be able to buy my dad a red Ferrari and my mum a house in the fucking country. And by the age of 12, I was smoking and drinking and doing the exact opposite of what they wanted. So I think they got their head around it pretty soon. I was never one to sort of be a good little girl and do what I'm told. So, yeah, it just made me laugh that, I've gone through so much of my own shit before, and I've identified a lot of where the programming, my personal programming, and my psyche and my traumas and my triggers come from over the last 2 years, even longer. I think we're subconsciously working this shit out forever, but so it still shocks me that when I get back to the origin of some more shit, it's still something to do with that. And so, yeah, it just makes me laugh, because so many times over the last few years, I sort of look at the energy in terms of a male and a female, and the divine mother and the divine father, and the inner child being like almost like the soul, or the mind, body, soul, the Holy Trinity, and acknowledging how really this is what we have to do for ourselves. We have to balance the energies. We have to be our own mother and our own father, and and yeah, and you know, at the same time, I'm still subconsciously holding fear frequencies around how my parents perceive me to be. And so it's all sort of related to these skewed perceptions of work and worth and value. And I just feel like I look forward to the time when the paradigm shifted and the value is not based on the financial evidence, you know, whether you've got a nice house or a nice car or a decent salary or whatever. And, you know, if you have that, that means that you are doing well in the game of life, and that, you know, the value is instead placed on the real worth and the heart and the intentions and the love and the creations. It's completely different, but I've always had skewed perceptions of my own worth because I was expected to excel in a financial aspect, and all I've ever done is the opposite. So yeah, I've been addressing my own rebel energies and problems with authority, and actually acknowledging and not beating myself up over the fact that I'm like that, but just starting to honour that and going, right, so you're still no different. You don't like being part of systems which you feel like potentially exploit people. I'm the type of person that if I see something is skewed, I can't keep my mouth shut sometimes, so I can be a liability. I don't know. I need to be my own boss, I guess, or only ever work with people who I resonate with, and I never meet people in the flesh that I resonate with, and ain't that a fucking pain in the arse, you know? So yeah, anyway, I'm at that at the moment. I feel like I'm being pushed and shunted onto the path that I'm supposed to be on, which is that of understanding my worth and value in a different context and stepping into that and just fucking going for it instead of trying to, you know, continue to subconsciously people please by kidding yourself, you know, that you're following your heart. So yeah, I don't want to be a disappointment. All these ever are, these, you know, external reflections of how I'm feeling about myself. So my mum and dad being of the mindset of, you know, you could have been this or should have been this or whatever. It's just a reflection of me going, you know, you've not really given your life a good go yet, so get cracking. So yeah, these things have been on my awareness at the moment. It's just alongside that, what's been presented to me in the 3D world is some really sort of meaty case studies in terms of, you know, watching how dense the suffering is. And it's funny because I'm not intertwined, therefore I'm not laced in the density of others' pain and despair when they're telling me the shit anymore. But again, I've mentioned in other videos, I just can't humour it. I can't engage in it, because if there's no awareness of their own acknowledgement or equal exchange in something, then it's pointless to me. But it's like the carrots have been dangled around, the dramatic, you know, this is going on over here and that's going on over there, and me pre-awakening would have been sort of riled up by a few things, and instead now I'm just like, oh, interesting, yeah, and it's all sort of tying together in some really personal way. Yeah, so anyway, right, I'm gonna get off now, 9 minutes, and I might have a tiny nap now because I can, because I got no fucking job and no mates and no life. Oh my god. Right, I'm going. Happy Tuesday. Bye.